Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we go again. It is a magical Monday, and today we are going to actually share a recording from yesterday's Zoom monthly meetup, which I've been doing now since January, into January, when we released The Golden Key. And yeah, just such a great way to connect with all you P heads out there that feel inspired to connect in that way. It's very interactive. It's a very small group that's been getting on there for now, and would love to see more of your bright, shiny faces in there connecting. You can ask questions or just share, like I said, a lot of people have been sharing stuff about the book and how it's impacted their life and, led to more abundance. And there's been some pretty cool stories you guys heard, if you heard last month's. So we got some more of that today. I'm going to share with you here in a bit. But yeah, check out the link in the show notes to join the monthly Zooms. It's a great way to support the show and connect with me. Let's see. Also, same thing with the game itself that you'll hear us talking about. The people, there's, I'd like to see what the exact percentage of people playing are, but under 10% are coming back and playing the game after reading the book. But those people, I'm getting such awesome stories and feedback from. So I encourage you to go get the book, play the game, and join the Zoom. I'd love to connect with you all more. And you can do all that stuff at goldenkey.gift. But otherwise, I'm going to jump right into it because this is a little bit longer than our normal dailies. And hope you guys enjoy. Until next time, journey well. Oh, I almost forgot to say, if you do decide to get the audio or ebook at goldenkey.gift, be sure and use code POSITIVEHEAD to get it for free. Enjoy. Oh, well, this is so great. Thank you guys for coming and being here. I love that these have stayed really intimate, and I really enjoy that. So, yeah, I mean, I come in with very little agenda, as those of you who have been here before know, and I just like to the opportunity to connect and talk about what really anyone has that's bubbling up for them. Any great wins, any challenges, any, anything that feels pertinent to share, any questions. And of course, I'm going to have more than my fair share of perspective on it, but I'm sure some of the others here will too. I really want it to be as collaborative as possible. So anyone have anything exciting to share that since we were on last month?
Oh, I do.
Do it, Rachel.
Okay, so last week, my family and we went up to South Dakota. And so that is where a year ago, I started listening to your podcast, and I had my beginning of my spiritual awakening. And so we had such a great time. They're like, okay, we're going to go back to the same Airbnb, stay in the same place. And my husband is a turkey hunter, and we really love organic, live off the land. So it's been fun for us to just find myself in that and just really embrace find the good in things. So we went back, and so in the meantime, this is a whole year of listening to you and Erica and just all these little things that keep connecting. So I go back, and I just knew it was going to be, magical. So I had been, I'm a graphic designer and artist. So I've been designing like a tattoo. I was like, never had one. Don't know. I'm never going to get one. I decided, well, I'll get it. If I draw it, I'm no longer afraid of the pain, and I know where I want it. So I've been drawing this up over the last couple months, and I was like, I'm just going to bring the printout with me. And so I bring it with me. We go into town, and like the last time I was there, it's so interesting how your perspective on a place changes.
Yeah.
So we go there, and I didn't even notice like all these beautiful murals like all over the city. It's in Hot Springs, South Dakota. So I started looking, I'm like, these are fantastic murals. I'm like, I wonder who drew these. And it was all the same artist, Maria. So I was like, I'm gonna look her up. I look her up. Sure enough, she's a tattoo artist.
Oh wow.
So I immediately was like, okay, she needs to tattoo me, because it was like, I'm an artist, and it was important to me to have another female do it and another artist. So I messaged her. I was like, hey, by chance, I'm in town. Can I get in? And she's like, I just had somebody cancel.
Of course she did.
Of course she did. So I get in like the next day, and she, gives me my first tattoo, and we're talking. And I said, so do you usually get a lot of out of towners? And she's like, no, I've only had like 2 walk-ins in my entire career, me being like the second one.
Wow.
So I'm booked out until August.
Wow.
So it was just the chance. And I was like, this just goes back to things happen when they need to, how they're supposed to. And it's just like, I don't know, I'm finally in this stage where things are just fun. So now I just like all these little synchronicities that come up. And so yeah, now things are just like really fun. And I've allowed myself to get out of the hard moments faster and to not overthink them. And just so now I'm constantly like, okay, I do my little like prayers, like, okay, send me the what's good for me and remove those things that are not good for me, and send me all the synchronicities, because they're just so fun.
Give me all of your synchronicities.
It's totally like this fun game now, like with the golden key and just like all this abundance, and
so fun.
Just in places. My abundance has always been in like relationships, and not necessarily the financial abundance, but I've received that along with it. So it's just been really fun.
Oh, that's such a great share. So did you got the tattoo?
Yes, I did. I don't
you got to show it to us. You do realize that.
I don't know if you can
see it.
I don't know how to show it when it's on myself. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, it's a hot air balloon.
Oh, beautiful.
Is it a hot air balloon or a light bulb or a hybrid?
It's a hot air balloon light bulb with a flame.
Oh.
So ironically enough, so I forgot that part. So the morning I was getting my tattoo, apparently this is the area that like there's all these like hot air balloon enthusiasts, which I didn't know. And I love hot air balloons. I've loved them since I was little. The morning of my tattoo, I look out our cabin window because we're like up in the mountains. 2 hot air balloons. Like
get out of here.
That's so cool.
I can't even make this stuff up anymore. Like it's just so
That is not something you see every day.
No. So yeah. And we were there a whole week and we didn't see him at all. So it was just a fun little And the whole tattoo was inspired from Erica. Like I feel like she's talking to me. I mean, I'm sure everybody thinks that.
and it's true, right? Because it's all you feedback. Yeah. It's a feedback loop of you back to you. It's like the hot air balloons. They're there for you as much as they're there for whatever else they're there for. This thing is like such an intricate web of incredible magic that we can't even begin to fathom. It is there for you.
Yeah. So she was talking, it was a few episodes back, talking about like this light bulb moment. And I was like, oh my God, like I totally had like that moment when she said it, and like how I ended up like playing it. It was all these synchronicities, like my phone cut off and then it turned back on, like right when she was saying it, and about flying and the light. And so that's really what it's about, is like being that light. Like the hot air balloons need that flame in them to go high, to go up. And it's just, it's like, that is exactly, and I've been waiting, like, I don't know what to draw. And I was like, that's it. And, loving them ever since I was a little girl, and like, it always connects back. So it's just been it's just been really, really fun.
Isn't it great when you get on the path of, this, making it a playful fun interactive experience where you trust the process of what's unfolding for you, and you're no longer feeling the desire or need to force anything, and just floating
Yes,
along, pun intended, with all the
absolutely. Yeah.
how fun. How did you initially get connected into the podcast? I'm curious, since it's a year, that's a pretty fresh journey, right? For you
Yeah.
on your
And I've been like on the fast track.
of course. Yeah.
Apparently. So we were up there and I just, was just having this moment of like, oh, I'm so stuck. Like I need something different. You try all the different things and like, positive affirmations, whatever. I was like, there was something that just, I was like, I need something. So I just like quick Google something, anything positive, I don't remember what I Googled. And then like your podcast came up and I did the game with the universe. Okay. And so I played the game with the universe and I, put that in and then I don't even remember what I ended up finding or what it was that I listened to. And it just kind of like clicked for me. Well, and then I think I might have posted on the Facebook group. And then a while after listening, I realized I'm going to go and like listen to the first one. And it ends up being like my daughter's birthday.
Oh, wow.
Are the first episodes that you recorded,
which was just like we just crossed our 6-year anniversary too.
Yeah, so it was just it's just crazy like how all the little connections have always been there, and it's like, oh my gosh, like just if I had listened to this, I wish I listened to this when she was born like 6 years ago, but it's like I didn't need it, I needed it when I needed it.
That's right. That's the thing. You get it when you're supposed to get. We all get this stuff when we get it.
Yeah.
And then you think of like your daughter, who will all she'll ever know is like these perspectives that you're going to share with her. It's like, what this next generation does with this information. It's just like
she is just like I already see like all that she's gonna do, and I love it. The beginning intro is like, I love you so much. She's like,
the theme song is great.
That's my favorite. When I've had multiple parents send me like video of their like 3-year-old singing that, and I'm like, oh,
my niece, we sing that to each other when we see each other.
So cute.
It's Golden a good one. Don't change it.
I know.
Yeah. Golden Key Choir, here we come.
Yeah. Well, that was a great share. Thank you, Rachel.
Well, thanks for listening. I'm so glad I can share with you guys. So I just feel really connected to you, even though I've never met you. So
that's because you are. I just had a cool synchronicity. I was talking about, Jonathan, I don't know how far away it is from you. I was just talking about taking a trip up to Mount Shasta, which is up Northern California, and I've always wanted to go, and me and a friend were talking about going, and then I literally was like Googling, just kind of looking into some things around it, and then I'm like, oh, my friend's coming by before I jump on this Zoom call, and I went, and as soon as I met with him, he's like, oh yeah, I just got back from Shasta, and started talking about all this. I was just trying to figure out where to go. What should I do? And it's just not that common or big of a place, it's like way up north, and it's just so cool to just see it constantly reflecting back. I mean, you guys hear my excitement for it never really wanes. It's just, it's always just gives you that warm and fuzzy feeling, right? I know you had to have it when you looked out the window and saw the hot air balloons. I really like that actual hot air balloons showed up for you.
It was like, okay, I'm really gonna need the confirmation. Like I was gonna do it, it was gonna happen. But like, we're gonna make this really fun for you.
Oh, how cool. Well, who else has something fun to share, something inspiring to share, or a question, or maybe even a challenge of something that's come up for them? Anything. There's nothing off limits.
I have a few things.
Good.
I'll start with like the fun thing. So I played a game with the universe a while back. I told you all the story and everything. I think on the first Zoom call, but for some reason I hadn't really thought about a way to play it again. But a few days ago, I thought about a way, and so I hired a pregnancy coach because I'm pregnant. And
that's right. You told us this.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Do you know if it's a boy or girl yet?
Not yet. We'll know, I think, in a month.
What
we'll be
is
able to
your
find out.
intuition if you had to?
Oh man, I've kind of been wanting a girl, but I keep calling
So
it
it's a
a
boy.
he.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I keep saying he. And
Yeah.
whenever we actually when we went up to we got our first sonogram, the baby was just moving so much. And I've heard from a few people that if like it's just like a little like it's I don't know if it's true or not or based on anything, but a lot of people say that if the baby's moving a lot, it's probably a boy.
Ah,
So yeah, we'll see.
interesting. Do you know what's the due date?
Yeah.
So the due date is November 29th.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
grandfather was November 30th.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just glad it's not like around Christmas.
Yeah.
Because the first due date, yeah, I'm actually further along than we thought, like by a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we thought we were gonna end up having the baby around Christmas, and I was like, no, because like I've thought about it myself. I was like, I would never want a birthday on Christmas because then you wouldn't really have like your own celebration. It would be just be like
I had
everything.
I worked for a record label years and years and years ago, and one of the artists on the label wrote a Christmas song, and his song, I always think of it when people make that comment, or something about how it wouldn't be good. I mean, I just remember the main lyric of his song was, "My birthday's near Christmas and it sucks. A combination gift for $20."
Yeah. I mean, it's all
funny.
perspective, right? But
Yeah.
I guess as a kid, I always like, oh, I don't.
Yeah, totally.
I'm so glad my birthday's not around Christmas. But yeah, so yeah, I decided, well, I've actually been wanting to hire a coach for quite a while just to work through some things. And I really believe in coaches and their support. And so yeah, I decided to hire this coach a few weeks ago. And I really, I really resonated with her. I was following her podcast and I just really loved everything she was saying and really felt connected, and everything that I would realize within myself, I would end up hearing on her podcast. I was like, okay, like I'm gonna get in contact with her. And so I've been working with her, but I guess with the whole like abundance thing is like sometimes I get kind of worried. I mean, I think it comes from, my mom being a single parent and all. I have like those like hardwired kind of like worries about finances. So I've actually been, pretty blessed to even afford it because as I've told y'all before, I've manifested quite a bit of abundance from your book and,
Remember.
yes. So yeah, I'm making quite a bit more with my job now, which is I'm super grateful for. But yeah,
So
anyway,
incredible.
so yeah, I hired her and I had been kind of having second thoughts because she actually lives in Australia, so there's a big time difference, and we meet every 2 weeks, and I was just kind of second guessing everything. And so on Friday I was like, okay, I'm an Uber driver, so I was like, okay, if I see something, and it's always like I let my intuition like say what I'm gonna see. Like, the first game I played, it was the blue elephant that showed up.
Yeah.
Yes. And then so this time just a pink car came up, pink car, and I never see pink cars. And I was like, okay, so if I see a pink car, and I was gonna say like, if I see a pink car, cancel with her, but something kept telling me to say no, if you see a pink car, keep her. And yeah, I ended up seeing 2 pink cars yesterday. So
Oh, wow.
Wow.
it was like a little sign to, and intuitively I knew that I should just trust myself, and there's a reason why I reached out to her. But of
Yeah.
course, I was just having second thoughts, and that just kind of like really showed me to not second guess myself, and trust her and trust the process. So
Right.
yeah, so
And when you thank you for sharing that. Yeah, when you think about those two different approaches, right? There's the expansion of I'm gonna get this coach that helps me with this very challenging process. That's gonna be more support in my world, and I deserve it. And then you go into that. Oh, hold on, but what if there's a lack of enough? And what if, and I'm not sure this is right. And then that becomes this retractory kind of energy and feeling. And what helps me is whenever because it's kind of a natural thing to have those moments, like, buyer's remorse is a real thing, and it's like, so whenever I feel myself having retracting feelings and thoughts around something like that, it's like start tapping into like that person and thinking like, hold on, what does she represent in the world? And how by me, by doing this, how am I helping her, which then helps others, which then, it's like, it's like I talk about in the Golden Key, what is it that you're supporting and what is the underlying intention and energy of it? And if it's really good and yours was really good going in, no matter what it's going and it felt right enough for you to do it, then it's like,
Let
own
it
it.
happen.
Like, because
own it.
you are infinitely abundant, and that is your intentions were so pure, and what they're doing in the world, and the fact that you're actually supporting their abundance process and them thriving, it's
Yeah.
can't lead you wrong.
Yeah, and her message is like really beautiful. And her podcast is really great. Like her whole thing is or she has like this little, like, I guess, saying at the beginning of her podcast on what she's about, and she's all about like connecting to the divine feminine within you through pregnancy, and connecting
Wow.
to yourself and your intuition and your your divine power. And yeah, it's crazy because that's like literally what I realized. I guess a little bit before I found out I was pregnant, but then when I did find out, I was like, okay, I've lost my connection with myself, and that's why I resonated with her so much, is because she really works on connecting you to yourself and your intuition and your power. And I feel like that's like a real foundation that I need to move forward with everything else in my life, because even with like your your abundance practices and stuff, I've like let go of what I want, and I'm just focusing on what I have right now, like who I am right now, accepting myself right now and everything I have, because I have a great life right now. I am really abundant, and I do have so many things to be grateful for. And because I was feeling a little bit like disconnected from my goals, like from what I wanted. So I'm just focusing on what I have right now. And so I really like her message. And I think it is like the energy with it too, because like the retractory energy, like I wouldn't even have felt right canceling with her, because it wasn't the right energy. And so I'm just really glad that it's so crazy that the game with the universe just always works, because I've played it with the podcast too. A few times. And so y'all remember the episode with the spirit rap?
Oh yeah. I love
So
that.
like the first time I heard that spirit rap, I cried. I was like,
It's
that
so
is just
powerful.
so beautiful and like powerful. And I was gonna save it, like I was gonna take a screenshot and save it and then try to find it. And I forgot. And it was like a month later, and I kept having that thought, like, oh, I want to find that song. I want to find it. And I decided to play a game with the universe, and it ended up being that episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So crazy.
That's a
And
1 in 1,400 chance.
Yeah.
so
Right?
So yeah. And it's weird. It's like I don't know if it's like Spotify or it's probably the universe, but it happened like I guess like a year and a half ago, before I went on this like really big road trip. The Spotify app kind of like it like skipped over, like I don't even know what happened, but it skipped over like quite a few episodes, and it went to this random episode that was talking about I don't know if you remember, Brandon, but it was like you shared a clip, Abraham clip, where it was this girl talking about whenever she travels, she keeps attracting like men who try to talk to her. And then Abraham was talking about how like you've just gotta, it's because of like the energy, like you have that fear in your mind, and so you're attracting those people. So you have to have a mindset of like safety, and like you're gonna meet good people, and like you're gonna have great experiences and everything like that. And so I heard that right before I left, and it was like awesome, because I remembered it. And because like my family, like I went on like a 4-month solo road trip around the US, and my whole family was like, oh my God, like go, buy a gun, like, get this and get that. Like, do you have a knife? And I know, I was like, I'm not doing any of that. Like, I believe, I have faith, I have trust in myself. I have good energy, and I believe that I'm going to be safe. So I'm going to be safe. And I had amazing experiences. Like I did couch surfing too. And all of my couch surfing experiences were amazing, super nice people, kind people. So
Wow.
yeah, it was pretty
Cool.
cool.
That's a great example of, that's a tricky thing for people, I think, is, do I, that line between, oh, am I being irresponsible by not locking my car or not doing the basic things of protection, or am I being, where do you draw that line? And I've talked about this before. I think what's important with it is, if you can get to the place where you feel like you did, like, I feel safe, I feel secure, I feel protected. There's nothing to be protected from, because I'm not a match for anything. You can't, it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
literally, like Bashar talked about when I saw him years ago. He's like, look, if these things that you fear can't even see you, if you're not in resonance, you become invisible in a sense. And all that's great. And I fully am there. And if you are feeling like, hey, I need to lock the door, then lock the door. If I need to, just honoring where you're at, don't give it a bunch of extra energy. Or if I need to get something I'm going to travel for 4 months, I want to have something with me, whatever. It's like, it's such a fine line there. So I applaud you for, like, not getting sold on fear, and then showing that there was no reason to be sold on fear.
Yeah, that is one thing. Even before I heard that episode, that's one thing that I've always been really good at, is like, especially after listening to your podcast, like your podcast really helped me embody that even more. It's just like, I know my energy, like I don't have anything to be afraid, because everything is happening for me. So even if it seems like it's something negative in that moment, like it's just like the fear of those types of things, of traveling. And like, I work for Uber and stuff, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're a female Uber driver.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm safe. I'm fine. Like, I'm not gonna give in to that fear, that energy.
Yep. You're calling in more of what we want to see. So
Yeah. And I've had amazing Uber riders. Everyone's been really kind and friendly and nice, and it's cool. I get to meet all kinds of people from all over the world. So yeah.
amazing. Excuse
Bless
me.
you.
Hopefully that wasn't too loud in the mic. I tried to turn away. So I pulled up here too this Sufi saying that I had seen not so long ago in there's a restaurant near where I live called Cafe Gratitude, and they have this painted on the wall, and it says abundance. And you made me think of it earlier, Kristen, with what you're saying early when you first started talking. Abundance can be had simply by consciously receiving what already has been given. That's pretty amazing, right? And if that which is like unto itself is drawn, it's like, okay, what is the doorway? What is the path to more abundance? Doing just what you did, right? Tuning into all the things that you already have, that that are reflections of your abundance. The fact that we're all on here and super healthy right now, and able and light enough to do this, as opposed to dealing with some really heavy thing in our life, that's major abundance right there, right? So
For sure.
Yeah. I actually just saved a something I heard Deepak Chopra say about abundance. He says, to open the door to abundance, we have to experience gratitude. And yeah, I really like that. I think it's just so important to, especially, the journey that I'm on right now is just really, being grateful, like having that vibration of gratefulness, because then you will attract more things to be grateful for in your life. So yeah, that's just like a huge thing that I'm like working on right now.
you seem to be doing a good job at your work.
Thank you. It's I've actually had kind of a rough like past week with well, the last episode or the last Zoom call, we were talking about like letting go and things like that. But man, I've been really getting some lessons on that lately, like hardcore.
I feel like there's a lot of, since the last Zoom call, there's been so much intensity in my life too. And like, here at the Mystic Manor, it's like every, there's a lot of females here, and almost every one of them is getting like blasted open, like channeling, and like just so much energy happening and coming through almost everyone in the house. And there's just so much energy and shifting happening in people's lives, and reframing, and it just seems like there's, as we ascend, there is there's just, it's just kind of like, don't get too attached to any particular, thing the way you think it is or should be or was, because it's ever, the only thing you can do is just like, you know, ride the wave of change and spiritual energy that seems to be just coming in hot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it actually ties into your most recent podcast episode, is the art of allowing, with Anita Wing Lee. I just heard that. I was like, well, there's another, message. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
So
Yeah. That was a good one. That was a
Yeah.
flashback episode too. I remember when I did that. Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a quick moment to tell you about our sponsor, Noom. Noom is a unique, habit-changing solution that helps users learn to develop a new relationship with food. And it's not a diet. No food is considered good or bad. As we talk about on this show all the time, it's all about proper balance and having good habits. And Noom just teaches you how to look within your own mind and make better decisions for yourself. Sounds familiar, right? It's based in psychology, eating better to feel better. It focuses on the story that we tell around food and how to feel good about our choices. And they make it all super easy to do with a minimal commitment of only 10 minutes a day, which is essential for someone like me with so much on my plate. Pun intended. So if you guys would like to try out the cognitive behavioral approach to losing weight that has led to 80% of Noomers finishing the program and 60% sticking to their goals for at least 1 year, head over to noom.com/positivehead to start your trial today. That's spelled NOOM.com/positivehead. I mean, what do you have to lose except outdated habits and perhaps a few extra pounds by signing up for the trial? Once again, that's NOOM.com/positivehead. Check it out. Cool. Well, who else has something fun to share today?
I'd love to share a few different things that have been bubbling up.
Great, please.
Both prior to today and today, and actually during this beautiful call. So yeah, Kristen, that's beautiful what you just shared about the attitude of gratitude. And literally just today, even though I took copious notes, like 10 pages of notes when I first went through the golden key, today I finally just
That's
in
so
pencils. Cool. Yeah, I mean, nothing fancy. I love to do mind maps that are bigger and all that, but this I just did today. And number 7, love what comes, face everything and rise, have an attitude of gratitude. It's just, so when you said that, I immediately went over and, okay, that's number 7.
Yep, exactly.
Yep. But the other thing I've been doing, well, first of all, with that, I can definitely mention, and you mentioned this at the beginning, Brandon, it's like everything in time, if we don't do certain things and then we finally pick them up again or reinforce them or whatever, it's just all divine order, divine timing. And that's definitely the case for me. I took all those copious notes, an 88-day spreadsheet, and to do all the affirmations and the dance and the breathing and all this sort of stuff. I love it too, but I do so many other things in my life that are spiritual. I've been on this path since the 60s. So I really kind of fell off the bandwagon, but it didn't really matter because I was just feeling abundance all the time and just listening. And then, like I said, about a half hour before this, I thought, okay, what I'm hearing is I need to look at my notes again. And as soon as I started looking at notes again, I made that little card. And so for me personally, even though it's late, I think one of these calls, I said, I'm kind of a slow learner, which sounds like a cop out or a not worthy thing, but it's actually just the way I am. I accept it, and it actually works pretty well. So if that helps reinforce other people's process and, getting rid of what's that word? Guilt. Forget the guilt. Anyway,
Yeah,
the other thing the other thing I've been doing during this call, and it'll be the most meaningful for us here, but hopefully other people that might listen to this will appreciate it. I've been taking notes. Again, it could be a mind map, but it's just on a piece of regular paper here. And there's so many currents and subcurrents that have been connecting us invisibly all the time. And that's what love's about. So I'll be quick about this, but like Rachel, to me, the hot air balloon is the perfect metaphor, a combined metaphor, because you talked about the heat and the fire. It's the Kundalini, but it's also the butterfly coming up and rising up and all that. So it's just, that to me was just absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Brandon, you talked about Mount Shasta. So I know we're musically and spiritually connected. So, depending on how you get up there, feel free to stop in Emeryville. Maybe I'll skedaddle up there with you.
That would be cool. That'd be really cool.
And then the most amazing thing, I mean, Kristen, you and I first connected on Facebook. I saw you were on a road trip, so I friended you. And I don't know if you even know. Yeah, okay, you obviously did notice that, but it's like, we're kind of kindred spirits, but we haven't really connected too much other than here we are showing up on these calls every month now. But when you mentioned a pink car yesterday.
Oh, goodness. Wow.
Yes, yesterday I saw my absolute first pink Tesla. and I saw this Tesla. I thought there's got to be some reason why I'm seeing this. And now I know why. It's like, because I should have written down the time of day. It might have been at the exact same time you were seeing a pink car. But and here you and I, on this call, I'm kind of wearing a slightly pinkish, and I notice you're wearing slightly.
Look what I'm wearing.
Yeah, there we go.
This is pink.
Is that pink? I can't see.
This is fully pink. It looks kind of white, probably. In the
Oh my gosh.
fully
Yep.
pink.
Yeah.
This is
so.
Thank you. It was just like, it's like I'm receiving confirmation through you. So thank you so much for sharing that.
It's
Wow.
even if it looks like it's sort of a minor detail, it's like the 3 3 3s and 4 4 4s. It's the alignment. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. You just said 444, and I looked at something while you're talking, and it was 444, and I thought of it. I just happened to look at this thing, and it's 444, and I was literally thinking about it 5 seconds before you said it. Wow. And then you say it. I have probably 100 shirts. I have way too many clothes, and this is like my only pink t-shirt. The only pink thing I own.
Oh, I love it.
All right, so that's my main share. Love all of you.
Yeah, I love how I love how you connected those dots, Jonathan, and of course, her pink shirt says it all with the super blessed.
Exactly.
Michelle, Rachel, and Thea is now here. We're going to need you to go change and come back in your best pink outfit.
Wait. I'm actually wearing.
There you go. All right.
There we go.
Rachel, Michelle, what you got?
I also have a pink sports bra.
Okay. We're getting closer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you got, Michelle?
Man, I'm on. This is my show. My show now. No. I just wanted to say, this is just really wonderful. I don't think I've experienced too many of these. I think I went to the first one and then I just kind of lost track. And I was trying to connect with the Clubhouse scene, and I want to ask you what happened with that, because I'm very curious.
I haven't been doing it because the last maybe month since I haven't done it, maybe the last 3 or 4, I would guess. There's just been so much going on Thursdays. I want to get back to it. I just haven't. And so
I was just curious because the platform seems to be, I think it's still trying to like formulate what it's about.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, if you choose to go back to it and do the thing, that would be great. But
yeah, I think I will. It's a matter of when.
It sounds like it's an investment though.
Yeah, and it's been one of those things whereby, and I was doing it at nighttime too. And my days it's been so intense around here. I mean, energetically, like I said, it's just, there's so much energy. By the time, 7 o'clock rolls around or whatever we were doing it, I'm just like, my energy needs to recharge as opposed to, push out there some more. And so
Yeah.
that's, one of the reasons. But I really have enjoyed them when I've done them too. And so.
Oh yeah, and I've gone to like similar things in Clubhouse. I've joined similar rooms and stuff, and I don't do the manifestation stuff very much, but I do like, psychics and, because I like listening to that, like people talking about light workers and stuff like that. Because I really identify with, having a life of service.
Sure.
So just not sure what in. I'm not sure or what to serve.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about that is there's so many opportunities, even in a small way, to serve in a given day. I mean, if you walk by someone, on the street and smile at them, that may be like the smile they needed. That really,
seriously,
you never fully know. And I think I talk about that all the time. It's like, who is more important, Gandhi or Gandhi's grandmother who raised him? Like, I mean,
that's a good question.
You could right. So, I think it was his grandmother that raised him, right? Someone said this before, and so I think, but you get the idea nonetheless. Like it could be one person that impacts one other person, and that's more beneficial to the world than someone else benefiting a million people, or so it's just I think that's a very important thing. If it's like, I know I want to be more of service, especially if you're that's what your intention is. If you're putting that out to the universe, like, okay, make me an instrument of peace, make me an instrument of thy peace. Show me how I can be of service. And then with that childlike wonder and openness to see what wants to come through and what comes your way, it's just inevitable, it's inevitable.
I had a well, and I also wanted to say I really like listening to Rachel stories and Kristen's stories. So thank you very much for sharing all that, because it was really interesting. I haven't played the Golden Game yet, but I'm getting closer to it. Right now I'm just sort of enjoying the podcasts, and I've read the Golden Game. I mean, I didn't read it, I listened to it.
Cool.
A couple of times through, and I've just been sort of just absorbing and processing, and
it's all perfect.
And I'd like to play the Golden Game too, and see what that comes up
well, it's all
that
listening to your own guidance on what to do when. It's like, more important for you could be listening to the book multiple times, or tuning into the podcast, or something else, or so. And then if you feel super inspired to, then do it, and if that's the thing, is they're all just different tools to play with energy. And, I think Osho wrote a book it's called The Book of Secrets, and it's based off of Vedic texts, ancient Vedic texts. It's all these different techniques for achieving enlightenment, tapping into source. And it's like, and he talks about it in the book. He sort of interprets all these techniques. Are you familiar with it, Kristen? The Book of Secrets?
No, I just saw Jonathan. He has the book.
Oh, yeah, of course he does. Jonathan's just, that's how Jonathan rolls,
Yeah, man.
And it's a great book, right, Jonathan? And it's like, hey, you don't know which one, this one of these, I forget how many techniques there are in it.
Hundreds.
And it's like, but this particular technique may really work well with Jonathan and who he is and where he's at in his journey, but this one may work really well with me, and that one may work well. So it's really about just playfully seeing what resonates, for you, and following that excitement, because that's going to lead you to what's, ideal. So it sounds like you're doing that. And
I found an opportunity that I really want to take advantage of, but I'm not sure about whether or not I should put in, just jump in and do all the work for it, because the due date is coming up. But the Jim Henson Company is doing an intensive for 3 weeks this summer, and they're asking for people to apply.
Oh, wow.
And I meet the minimum criteria. I mean, I'm a performer, and I do comedic stuff. So
cool.
I don't do much with puppets, so I like puppets, but
Yeah, Jim Henson was a pretty spiritual guy, from what I
heard.
heard.
Yeah.
And
he's just like a Buddha.
yeah. I was at a festival one time years ago, and someone was really like, he had met Jim Henson when he was a child and had this powerful experience with him that was
Wow.
like had affected his whole life. And then he's telling this whole story, and the guy was a great storyteller, and he's telling this epic story all about Jim Henson and all these. It was just like everyone was just like so um, enthralled in the story. And then one of the guys sitting with me listening, he's like, all of a sudden he just pulls up his arm, and it was like Kermit the Frog or something. It was like a Jim Henson thing. The guy happened to be like a huge Jim Henson,
Yeah.
fan, and it was like it was a really cool synchronistic moment of that energy swirling. So
Yeah.
I mean
That's
to
cool.
me, I instantly, knowing what I know, I have such a good memory from that experience and how that whole thing unfolded and how it felt. So as soon as I hear that, I'm like, ooh, that sounds like magic is there,
Yeah, it does to me too. I'm just wondering if, it's my magic, or if someone else
Yeah,
needs
well,
to do this.
it
So.
never,
creative.
yeah, well, you never know if you I don't know what's required for you to apply or whatever, if it's super intensive or not, but
I think I
certainly,
just have to like a photo and a resume, and which is like my resume is like completely not towards performance, and
Gotcha. Gotcha.
and then a streaming, like a link to a streaming thing, like a YouTube that shows my
Gotcha.
some of what I do. So.
Gotcha. Well, if you feel inspired enough to do it, and even just the act of doing it is a win,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
it's like, I want more of that in my life. And then it's like my friend here, Sisa, who's an actress, and she's just did an audition. She's actually going to be in a movie that's coming out in June, I think. It's called Meet the Blacks 2. It's like a vampire comedy. It's like, all these great, who's in it? It's like Snoop Dogg's in it, and
that's great.
Danny Trejo, and like all these great Cat Williams, bunch of like really funny dudes are in it. And she's like the blonde Danish, the one like very super white vampire, it's all these great black comedians. And she's been, she's been working on her, really wanting to get into more things and get bigger roles. And, she's done some really cool stuff. She's she's done a lot of really cool stuff, but she's really trying to get to that next level in her own performance. And something came across her, an opportunity for her to be on the show on Netflix called Barbarians. And she's very Viking looking, kind of. And so it's like perfect for her. Right. But the one caveat was the show is recorded in German, and she doesn't speak German. So then the question was like, okay, I would love to be in the show. Do I do this? Do I try and learn German for this particular role? Just like learn how to say these lines in a whole language I don't speak. She speaks English and Danish, like, and she's like, yeah, I should, and I want to be on the show so bad. The draw, it's such a perfect show. And even if I don't get on it, just the self-discipline of having learned, and, this, most people, if you get an audition, in another language, you're probably going to pass. And she did it, and she learned it, and she submitted it. And, she hasn't heard anything back yet or whatever. And her agents, were like, wow, this is so good. And, and maybe she'll get it, maybe she won't, but she, she had enough of a calling to like, and she looks at it now as like, that was a test to me. How bad do you really want to get bigger roles,
And I was if I could add something for you, Michelle. So I'm a freelance graphic designer. And so there's been opportunities where I'm like, I'm kind of like a jack of all trades. Like I have all styles. And there's been a couple jobs that come up. I'm like, do I want to apply for that? I'm kind of interested. And I don't know. I gotta tweak my resume. Or I gotta maybe put that on my portfolio. There's been times that I did the work and I didn't get that job, but because I had already done it, Now I was
Yeah.
ready. So maybe it's this, and this was enough to get you excited, to get you moving towards something. And so maybe it'll be this, or it'll be something better, right?
Wow, that's
So
really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Hey, I just wanted to ask, is that your picture behind you?
oh, this right here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I painted that.
really? That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I
Thank
was just
you.
admiring that.
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
really like the colors in it.
Yep,
Mhm.
beautiful.
Kind of
Yeah.
pastels.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thea, how are you doing? Better late than never.
Well, because it's interesting as to why I was late.
Oh, really? Okay.
The whole evolution. So I don't know. I finally posted my abundance story for the website. I don't know
Oh, you did. Oh, beautiful. I haven't seen it yet.
which. Okay, good, because
You uploaded like a video of it or something. Okay.
I
Cool.
uploaded a video.
Oh, yay. Thank
There's
you.
actually even more information
Oh,
there since
Wow.
I uploaded the video. And the
Wow.
video has more on it than our last call, which was, I don't know if you remember, my husband, like,
Yeah, got the new job and yeah.
so since then, about 2 weeks ago, we very spontaneously decided to put our house up for sale
Wow.
because the market is such a seller's market, especially here in New Jersey, people
Yeah.
moving out of New York, you
Yeah.
know. And our house right now is valued about $110,000 more than we paid for it.
Wow.
And so we're like, all right, let's do this. So like my office is like all like scarce, like we've already started moving stuff. And you know, the only problem is that it's a scarce market for buyers or renters. So we're really, really starting to panic because we've been, we were looking at like apartments, just anything, right? Because I didn't want to like rush into buying something to settle. Not that that was going to be easy anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like looking at apartments, and we've got our names on lists. Like the shortest waiting list had 30 people on it.
Wow.
The longest waiting list I'm on had 95 names on it.
Oh my God.
Like it's really intense. And so my husband and I had a little bit of a fight, and he's like, we're going to be homeless. Like, I can't believe
just so I'm clear, you sold the house but you're going to just look for something in the same.
We didn't sell it yet. It's actually going up
Okay.
on Friday. It's going on the market. But we've started preparing.
Yeah, gotcha.
Started getting ready to stage the house and everything. And he's like, we're going to be homeless. But, I can't believe you're making me do this. I'm like, I'm not making this. So he made me a little panicked.
Yeah.
So I went to bed last weekend, and I was like, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to set my intention. We are going to find, at least 3 bedrooms. They're going to accept the cats, at least 1.5 baths. Oh, and it's going to be less than my mortgage payment currently.
Uh-huh.
I want a porch. I want to be able to, bike or walk to the beach. The next day, I went to this class I go to, and I sat next to a woman I don't normally sit next to, and we were talking, and I told her what was going on. And she's like, oh, my apartment in Asbury Park is opening up. It's 4 bedroom, 2 bath, newly renovated. You could walk to the beach. Oh, I'll take your cats. No problem. I'm like,
wow.
Gets better.
Huh.
4 days later, because we're also looking at houses, just whatever's, to see. We looked at 2 houses, and the second house is absolutely perfect. It's exactly all of that criteria. And we put a bid in on it. They had already accepted final and highest bids. And my realtor called that realtor, and the woman said, oh, I know who you are. Oh, it's the owner. The owner is the realtor.
Uh-huh.
She said, I know who you are. You have a great reputation. She said, I'll tell you what, your client's bid's a tiny bit lower than the highest bid, but I'd rather work with you because you have such a good reputation.
What?
And my realtor's like, yeah. This doesn't happen. First of all, do you know how many of my clients have put in offers on like 10, 20 houses and haven't had an offer accepted yet? Wow. This is your first offer. And she's like, we're going to take the lower offer with you just because we like you.
Right. Wow. Abundance from all
directions. Long story, but like, it's just ridiculous. Wow. It's like, I can't lose.
That's incredible. It's such a great example of like not listening to the story of lack and instead you tuning into the infinite abundance that you're in your own private universe, right? You're in your own movie. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great setup, everyone, with all these stories of lack around me. How about I'll take the extra 110,000 and I'll call in something with these parameters. Thank you very much. I'll see you there. And it's like, oh, here's two things hitting you over the head in weird ways, right? That completely out of, that's what I love about it is like, you got to throw out all ideas of the normal path to getting to places or achieving things. Once you start tapping into this awareness, all bets are off on how things can manifest. And more likely than not, it is going to manifest in a way you couldn't, didn't, wouldn't have thought of. And so, wow, I guess you're going to have to update your video.
I guess so. But I've been so busy today. Like this last weekend before we go up listing, and we've been like cleaning and organizing everything. And I totally lost track of time. And I was like, on my phone, I was separated from my phone for several hours today. And I sat down to eat something. I was like, oh my God, it's the Zoom call tonight.
Yeah. How cool.
It's all your fault that I was late because of all the nonsense.
I guess we can let it slide, all things considered.
I have one more thing I just wanted to throw out there, and it's not immediate, but so I think we're gonna be coming out to Venice Beach.
Oh, really? When?
October. Yeah, we're gonna be staying. We haven't booked it yet, but I think we're gonna be staying like right on Santa Monica Pier.
Oh, that's right. That's very close.
I would love to meet you in person.
Yeah, that would be great. Sometimes if we have vacancy here at the Mystic Manor, sometimes we'll even rent rooms and stuff. So that could be, October's far out. So usually it's like a more last minute thing because
Yes. But how do I reach out to you to to let you know what's going on and coordinate and stuff?
Yeah, no problem. You can just email me, actually, is probably the easiest way. Or are we connected on social media or anywhere?
Just through the two sites, the Positive Head and the Keymasters.
Yeah, just send it to my email, which is that's fine. Which is Brandon@positivehead.
Okay.
.com. Oh, I love that. How cool. I would love to see you out here. It's so great having, all the retreats and everything pre-COVID and getting so many people coming through. And so it's really nice with COVID starting to let up a little bit. We're just looking at doing like little things, so far with like, yoga and cacao on Thursday nights with, so it's, so we're kind of looking at doing some things again, slowly but surely, but wow, so many cool, inspiring stories today. Does anyone else have anything that is, as we sort of in our last little bit here, anything that's been like a challenge or anything else that anyone feels inspired to share or, with the rest of the group?
Can I just ask just a piece of advice for connecting new relationships and trying to determine if they're authentic?
Okay, sure. Just is that the extent of the question?
Yeah. Let's keep it broad.
Yeah. Well, someone, I forget who it was, my recent guest said something that I really loved. And they said, intuition is our highest form of intelligence because it takes into all the things that we know, all the experiences that we've had, and, these energies and awarenesses from beyond, our higher self, whatever you want to call it. So I think the first thing is the more that you trust your intuition, the stronger and more reliable it becomes. And I think sometimes people, of course, we can all second guess that. And then if it turns out we were, let's quote unquote, wrong, if there was such a thing, right? Then it's like, oh, I'm never going to trust that, again. But actually, if you think of it from like, okay, I'm being led where I'm supposed to go. Nothing ever is happening that shouldn't happen to you. So I would say just double down on trusting. If your intention was to enhance your own intuition and to learn to follow that better, no matter what comes, that intention is leading you somewhere that you're supposed to go. And so I think that's so I really, if you ask yourself, it's like that question, it's kind of like, if I flip a coin and say, call it in the air, heads or tails. You don't have time to even think about it. You just choose what you call. Same thing. Is this good or not? No time to think about it. What's the first thing that pops up? And then go with that. And like was just said, I expect, like Kristen was saying, I expect it to be safe. I expect it to be good.
Yep.
And guess what? If it wasn't, then that's, I'm going to learn a lesson from it. And I'm also, whatever I do, I'm not going to let it cause me to shut my heart down. And that's the thing that a lot of us get stuck doing, is like we get hurt and then, oh, okay, I knew it wasn't safe, shutting my heart down. And guess what? You want to definitely lose? Do that. Like, you can play it safer and miss all the good things that life has to offer. I mean, I talk about this in relation to romantic relationships. Like, you got to be willing to let your heart be trampled 100 times if it's for that 101st time, to have that something that is what makes life, it's like the sweetest thing that life has to offer, right? So if it's so important that we go with that, sort of that innocence and exposure, and because in a way we're let's face it, we're pretty exposed. Like, so that's my instant reaction to your question.
Okay, thanks.
Does anyone else have any thoughts on that?
I think that's pretty spot on.
I'll expand a little even more, because the other thing that comes to mind with it is, also, where are you at now in your own journey? You've been leveling up a lot, so it makes sense that you would be attracting things that you're gonna attract things in that are either a match for where you're at, which we I think you would agree that's a good thing, and or something that has some sort of a lesson for you there, which maybe that's another way to think about it. But a lot of times it's like, I can once again, romantic relationships are a great gauge because they're always such significant parts of our lives and story. I mean, I can look back at my early romantic relationships, some of them, and what a hot mess they were, and like, it's like, oh, and I was this young, very fiery, guy. Like, now, as I've matured and grown and gotten more, it's like, oh, the reflections of those relationships are more and more reflected. Now it's like much more zen and peaceful and mature. And so, I tend to expect that I'm attracting things that are, not to say you guys probably heard me talk about attracting someone here at the Mystic Manor who's a really intense lesson, but that was important too, right? So it's just like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going in. I'm going to trust the process, and I think inevitably you're going to see close reflections to you, certainly, and there may be a little other things sprinkled in that are a part of you too, and just coming at it from a different angle. As a part of you that maybe some older energy or blocked energy that needs to be brought up and processed.
Okay, cool.
Thank you guys all for joining and continuing to be a part of this. And it's just so great to see your faces, and, and then it's such a great way. I shared last time on the show the next day. I think I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. So it gives those who aren't a part of it a little insight into your lives, our lives, and, all the inspiration that's being drummed up from other folks in our community. So thank you for being the brave guinea pigs.
Thank you. When is the
Thank
next
you,
one?
Brenna.
Is it scheduled?
It should be scheduled. How do you guys get notified each month? Do you get
I did get a few notifications through my email.
an auto notification, right? Yeah. I think we need to update the website. I think we need to update the website is what has not happened. So thank you for bringing that up. I'll make sure that happens. And it's probably either it's roughly
I-
1 month away?
I have it on my calendar
Oh,
because
you do? Okay.
yeah, let me find it. Let's see. It is June 13th.
There it is.
13.
There it is. Stay gold.
Oh,
Yes.
that's actually my boyfriend's birthday.
Oh, yay.
I'm gonna be
wow.
in Sedona.
Oh, you are? Cool.
Yes, but I will make it happen.
Oh, yay. Well,
Yes.
all of you have a wonderful, wonderful month until I see your bright, shiny faces again. And yeah, I look forward to hearing all the magic that unfolds between now and then.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Bye for now,
Magical.
everyone. Also, before we sign off, I wanted to remind you to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can find the book and unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.